So we need.
It's almost like
We need.
tightening up your tires on the car.
Okay, so we
You
need
want to make sure
We need the D's. So
you're
we
going
need
in
the.
some kind of a sequence, guys, and not just
Hold on. We need the,
clanking one side all the way down all at once.
Which one?
And then
does
just go
D
back,
look
guys,
like,
and just
though? It's got the ones with the.
give everything the old,
Yep. Yeah, it's this one.
the old tight test.
L is 12.
So we got the now we got the fan, we got the CPU mounted. We moved the cable out of the way. Remember, guys, you got that line indicator right there. You got your line indicator on your actual motherboard. And it slides right in there, guys. Remember, guys, when you're working with electronics, computers, and whatnot, being He-Man forcibly pushing stuff is not the answer, guys. All right.
That's all right.
Electronics doesn't like cavemen. All right. That's why cavemen smashed rocks. So we're not cavemen, guys.
If you don't
We're
have
intelligent.
one of these, doing this
All right.
with
So now we got
one
our
of these guys would be
2
very,
sticks of
very
RAM
difficult. So
installed
just
in our
a-
motherboard.
Just a
Guys,
note,
we're
I
cranking
guess,
right along here, actually.
If you don't have a
All right, guys, welcome back. We're gonna crack the case right open. That's where we're at in the process right now.
You know, maybe I don't know.
So without further ado,
Here's a screw.
let's get this case opened up, boys. Here's the front view of it. Real clean, guys. Real clean. Here's the tempered glass view right.
I'll hold it too.
What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for holding on. Just getting some dinner ready. Woo! All right. We're gonna be jumping into this today. We're gonna be turn that off. I'm gonna be setting up a I got an Ansible class. I got an Ansible class tomorrow. With Sander von Wundt. He's a great instructor. If you ever have the chance to take any of his classes or read any of his material, let me turn this. I thought this would be funny. It always is. He's a great instructor. He does a lot of he writes a lot of material on Red Hat, Enterprise Linux, certifications and whatnot. So tomorrow, off of my O'Reilly's subscription there, I registered up for a, I think it's like a 4-hour course that's going to take me from start to finish through Ansible. But today, we're going to be jumping on CML to actually set up the lab before tomorrow. That way tomorrow, you know, once he starts dropping his material, you know, he likes to make sure that, you know, before you register for one of his classes, he's got to be prepared for one of his classes because he jumps right into things. You know, he ain't waiting for you. You know, you waiting for him. So I've taken a lot of his courses. Just last week, I actually took 2 of his Bash scripting courses, beginning to Bash, and then it's called Cool Bash Scripting. That was good. I learned a lot. I have a lot of material too, and I have the recording too, so I can go back to that and. Bash scripting courses. All right, that sounds pretty good. Just want to make sure the sound sounds good. It's always a concern of mine to make sure the sound's always sounds good and whatnot. So, if there's any issues with anything, guys, make sure you guys hit me up on the chat. YouTube, I'm gonna you guys on YouTube, I'm gonna be going back and forth, checking on the chat on YouTube too, to make sure I'm showing you guys some love as well. Twitch though, you know, you guys are my primary. I got you guys up on the chat, so if there's anything comes up on the chat, any questions at all, guys, you know, hit me up. More than happy to talk. You know, this is just going to be, it's just going to be, you know, me just going through the motions of setting up this lab. It's a pretty interesting lab to set up because what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a router with the switch. I'm going to get three Linux VMs. They're all going to be Ubuntu images. I'm going to get those fired up, updated, and then I'm going to get one as the Ansible controller. We're going to make sure that Ansible and everything works. Yeah, this should be neat. If you guys could tell, let me see, where am I? I got right here. I'm trying to get to 50 followers, guys. 50 followers, that's it. So, you guys are out there. You know, make sure you guys, you know, help me out. Share the stream. You know, guys, I'm just trying to bring quality stuff out there, guys. That's it. You know. But yeah, this should be fun. I got like I said, I already got CML. I already got it up on my ESXi server. Already fired up. The wheels. I got the wheels are turning already. So yeah, let's dive into it. Drop this down here. Let's go over to CML. All right. Here we go, everybody. All right. Let's add. You know what? I'm gonna wipe this lab. Let's wipe this one. We can save this one. Yeah, I'm gonna save these three right here. Let's come over here. Let's add lab new. What's gonna call it? Call this one Ansible lab. Still tied up. All my cords are all tangled up. Get some mac and cheese too. Stabbing. Lab dash. All right. Do I need? I really don't need a mana switch. So I'm gonna grab that. And grab these. Need 3 of those. Need an external connection to as well. Yeah, so this would be interesting too, guys, because if you've never set up a well, I guess if you have any if you have any questions about CML too, and anything like that too, guys, always ask. Just gonna start naming some stuff here. Internet. Really nice and easy. Switch. Alright, so I got a list of names here, and I got some IP addresses on how we're gonna set up the lab. So this was his instructions to his class. Yeah. I could have set this. Everybody else is probably gonna be setting this up on off of, I could have just set this straight up in ESXi and just run a couple images that way, but I love doing everything in CML. It's fun. Just because I got to just go over the process of configuring routers and whatnot. So that's why I enjoy it. So his instructions were to work through the lab in this course. The participants need to install a simple lab environment before the start of the course. The participants need to install 3 virtual machines using the minimum setup, installation patterns, and either Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So RHEL stands for Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Let me get my thingy working. So when you see RHEL, that stands for Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Spelled it. Right. My spelling's always atrocious, so don't mind my spelling. So when you see RHEL just stands for Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and that's flavors like Fedora. All right. Fedora CentOS. All right. Fedora CentOS, and there's always one more that I always forget the name of. I think it's not coming to me, but whatever. You get the idea. So yeah. So he just states, you know, we don't have to. You don't have to set up it on Fedora or CentOS. So I'm just going to be using Ubuntu images. Name the machines as follows. The listed IPs are suggested IP addresses. Make sure that they meet your configurations and change accordingly if needed. So you know, if you couldn't use, you know, these IP addresses, it really don't matter. I'm going to use them. I'm going to have it set up. I'm going to have everything set up on this router. I'm going to have a DHCP server set up on that router. So everything gets, you know, addressed, you know, and configured automatically and whatnot. Let me just grab my books here. Make sure if I run into any issues that I can troubleshoot everything. But yeah, this is just going to be a nice, you know, chilling chat. You know, hit me up, guys. As I scarf down my mac and cheese. So, all right, we'll drop that down. We'll name you the controller. We'll just name you Ansible. Ansible. Why am I spelling it? Only one. Whatever. I'll name it. I'll rename that. That's an easy name. We'll just say easy. Alright, so we got everything labeled. Let me just make sure this is configured right. It's on NAT. Perfect. That's good. Everything else should be just, everything else should be good. So, yeah. Links here. I'm just gonna fire the router up first. That way I can go through all the configurations on the router before we get everything else up, because if I start firing up these VM images, you know, they're just gonna be sending traffic that I don't need through the wire right now, and you know, they're gonna be, you know, asking for a DHCP server and whatnot. So it's not even gonna be, you know, if I start firing up now, it's just gonna start getting funky on me. So we're just gonna leave those alone. We'll leave the switch alone, and then the exterior. So this is right here. So this right here is this is gonna be that's an exterior connection. That's gonna hook us up to my actual production line, my physical line, and in my house. But it's gonna be I have it set up as a NAT as a NAT connection, which is what it's going to do. So NAT is network address translation. That's what NAT stands for. Let me write that down for you guys. So the terminology for NAT, network address translation. All right, so if you ever see the term NAT, that's all it stands for, is network address translation. And what NAT does is when all these PCs send their traffic to the actual real internet, I mean, this is gonna have NAT as well. So I'm gonna be doing NAT a couple times on this lab to actually get out to the internet, because your home router is performing NAT, okay? Because when you're connected, say you know, if you look on your phone right now, you're gonna have, if you look at your phone's IP address, if you're on your home Wi-Fi, okay? If you're on your home Wi-Fi, you take a look at your actual IP address that your phone's using, or your laptop's using, or your PC's using. You know, most likely you're gonna have an address. Again, most likely you're gonna have an address in this range right here, the 192.168 range. It's probably gonna be 0. Most of them start at like 170. Most home routers, their DHCP servers start around 170-ish. That way, it's usually go to 170 to 254. So that's a normal home router address. That gives you about 30 plus 50, so that's 80. So that's equaling about 84 IP addresses in your home. All right. So this range right here is giving you 84 IP addresses, and that's normally what your at-home router is doing for you. All right. But to get back to what NAT, so this right here though, this is a private address. All right. Your home router, which this is going to be acting as say per se, quote unquote, your at-home router. This is going to be acting as this lab's home router, okay? And this is acting as the real internet, okay? We're just going to say for example. So for me, well, for this lab to be able to communicate outside to the real deal internet, I have to be able to just take all these addresses, so I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, plus this interface right here. So there's going to be 4 private addresses, quote unquote, that on this interface right here, well, yeah, no, well, yeah. So there's going to be four addresses that this router needs to translate to one address that's going to be on this interface out to this this exterior connection, okay? Because of the fact that that's the difference between a global address and a public address. All right. So then what this connection does is then this connection feeds all that information, and it's gonna then do NAT again. So then this interface is now taking 1, 2. Yeah, so this interface now is taking 2 addresses and then feeding that out to my actual home route. Well, it's actually feeding, it's then feeding that through ESXi, which ESXi is performing that again, and then that's going to feed that out to my actual home router, where my home router is going to take that address now, and then it's actually going to finally turn that into a real globally addressable address out to the internet. and it's gonna be able. I'm gonna be able to get traffic back. Okay. It's real neat, guys. It's real neat how it all works. But that's why, it's super. That's why you just have to know a little bit about what this is all doing. That's just what I'm doing, guys. So again, if you got questions about it, ask me. But I'm actually gonna be walking through the step-by-step configuration of it all. So you guys are gonna get. And I've done this a couple times. I've streamed this a couple times on how to do it, but here we go again. We're gonna do it again. This is like riding a bicycle. Once you do it, but you gotta keep doing it, keep it fresh in your head. So that's the reason why I honestly like going back and redoing it all over again. So, sorry. Scoffing down all this mac and cheesy. Alright. Let's open up a console on the router. I'm gonna pick this up. What about there? I'm gonna say no. I guess it really don't matter. It's not getting in the way of anything. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Ba-da-dum. Ba-da-dee. All right. You know what? I gotta move that. I'm gonna move that for you guys so you guys can I gotta move my chippy cup. Cup right here for the moment, guys. The way you guys can actually see. Let me move. I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing on the configuration. That's good. All right. You guys should be able to see that now. Alright, let's get it started. We don't need to change the host then. So, what we're going to do, so the first interface that we need to go into is gigabit 0-0, IP address, TCP, shot. Give that a description. We're going to say interface 2. All right. And then what is the keep it in that range. 1 address 4.1 got a description, interface to Ooh. I call this .NET. Two, 6, 8, 4, 0. And this is default router. 2, 6, 8, 4.1. I believe if I set up TNS on this too, it should work. Exclude addresses 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 8, 4, 2. Stats at 200, so we're gonna say. Go back into say lease implement. Okay. Let me just write this configuration real quick, guys. We got that set up. Now we're gonna set up that part. Access list. One. Two. Four. And then this is wildcard mask. Yeah. So that's 0.0.0. 5. And that should cover that entire IP range right there. PNAT inside source access list one base zero load. Freak out in a minute. Let me give this a loopback address real quick too before I do this. Yes. Quick. Why about these tracebacks, guys? It always does this every time I do this. It's mainly because of the I believe it's due to the amount of RAM that initially it has for it. I think that's probably why. It always does that little freak out. Still works. Yeah. Let's go to interface, gigabit 0-1 now. configuration again. Check it out. DHCP setup, default route, default server, DNS server, set up. There's our loopback address. Interface, gigabit 0-0. It doesn't have a IP address just yet. It'll get one as soon as I turn on the exterior connection, it'll get one. And then there's interface gigabit 0-1. Description, interface to lab. IP address 192.168.4.1. IP NAT outside. IP virtual reassembly in. Duplex auto, speed auto. I don't have anything set up on the other ones. That's pretty much it. Yeah, and I don't have any of the consoles or anything that set up. I don't need to have it set up, so I'm not gonna go through that. Alright. Let's fire up the exterior connection, and then we're just gonna make sure that we can ping Google from there, and then we'll get everything else. Everything else though after this is we're gonna be, once I confirm that it's up and running. Come on. Once we confirm that it's up and running, our connections are good, or at least between the router and the exterior connection. All we have to do from there is we'll fire up the switch, we'll fire up the VMs, the PCs. They'll all be, they'll all get an address, and then let's go back to the router now. Ooh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't do all right. So let me set up OSPF real quick too. OSPF. Right. Got our address. Alright, let's set up this. So network. So 192.168.0.0. Area session. That should establish our routes. All right. Now let's just make sure 8.8. Alright, we're good. So when I ping 8.8.8.8, that's pinging a Google DNS server out in the big world of the internet. So just right there, that's just confirming that my exterior connection is up and running. It's good. Do show. Just checking out our routes real quick. Good. But I got OSPF, I got DHCP, I got OSPF, I got DHCP, I got NAT. I'm pretty sure I got everything set up now and configured. Like I said, I don't need to plus SSH on these routers. That was one thing that I discovered when I did my initial installation of CML 2.1, because this is CML 2.1 here. There's a in the reflat file, which has all the actual ISOs that CML 2.1 uses. There's a couple of issues, and one of the issues is that SSH on the IOSVs, the command to create the actual crypto key doesn't exist on the ISO image. So you, without being able to create a crypto key, a crypto RSA, RSA key, I can't enable SSH on that router. So, for me to go through the motions of setting it up, honestly, is useless. When I can boot this, when I get this, I can boot this up on GNS3. I got GNS3 over here. Why is that giving me a warning? Oh, that's all. Nothing. Okay. It's only telling me that the image source on ESXi it's telling me that I should update it. For some reason, sometimes when you do that, it gets all funky, so I don't even bother doing it. It's not going to hurt anything. So if you're unfamiliar with ESXi, if you've used, if you have any experience using Proxmox, Proxmox is like the open source version of what ESXi does. So ESXi is pretty much a headless virtualizing server software. And what I mean by that is it's running. So I have it running off of here, which is VMF. That's VMware Pro. So I got it running off of VMware Pro, and I have it booted up as just a VM there. And what it's doing is so when it runs headless, it's just running. I have to have a web browser to actually be able to manage it. So that's why everything you're seeing here is off of a web browser. So this is a web browser right here, and obviously this is a web browser right here. All right, yeah, you can go into it and do some configurations on the command line, but it's not suggested, obviously. You're better off doing it right off the web browser. It's just how it's made. It's neat, it's awesome. I think it's great. But what it is so if you have any experience with using like VirtualBox or like VMware Workstation or VMware. What is the Apple version called? VMware Sphere. Or I think it's Sphere on Mac. That's a virtualization software. So that's a layer 2 virtualization software, where ESXi is actually a layer 1 virtualization server. Okay, so I can run multiple VMs off VMware Workstation. Yeah, I can do it all day long, and I can I can tailor it to the amount of CPUs, RAM, storage, and whatnot. I can do all that, but ESXi, so since I'm running it off of a VMware Workstation, I tailored ESXi to only have X amount of CPUs and RAMs and storage. What that's doing for me when I run ESXi is then every virtual machine I run off of ESXi is only running off of that tailored amount of resources that I've actually allocated out to ESXi. So instead of VMware Workstation, just multi-layering the resources off of the actual PC, my actual PC, I give it X to run ESXi, and then ESXi divvies up the resources from there. So it's a more efficient way for me to run multiple VMs all at the same time, without, damaging my or over allocating the resources of my actual PC. I have a let me see, I got the Ryzen. I'm only running the Ryzen. What is it? The Ryzen 5? No, it's not even the Ryzen. Yeah. I'm running the Ryzen 5, the AMD Ryzen 5 16 AF CPU, and it's a 12 core CPU, six actual physical cores, right? And I can do a heck of a lot just off, and that's in the world of CPUs, that's a very low grade. It's a very awesome CPU, don't get me wrong, but in the world of CPUs, that's not in the ballpark of super duper hot thread rippers or anything like that. You gotta understand, I'm also streaming and running other software and all kinds of other things all at the same time, and that Bad Larry, that $98 CPU, it does some serious work. It's a workhorse. I always tell people, if you're looking to upgrade your CPU and you're not trying to spend $500-600 on a Threadripper CPU, the Ryzen 5, the AMD Ryzen 5 1600 AF, okay, because there's a difference. If you don't get the AF version, you're actually getting, because the AF, it's actually, in all rights, it's like the 2600 Ryzen 5. It's just how the new one was released, but it is a lower cost with it, with them giving the name as 1600, whatever. But it's a workhorse. That is a super great CPU, man. I wholeheartedly will stand by my suggestion and tell people the Ryzen 5 AF, 1600 AF. If you're looking for a reasonably price, again, usually you can score them. I don't know what it is lately. Lately it seems like everything has gone up in price, but I think I scored it. Man, when did I build this PC? I built this PC. It was all last January or last December actually when I started putting this all together and whatnot. And at that time, I think I scored it for like $98. Super reasonable. Yeah, and if you guys are ever interested in my PC build, that was actually the clip I was running on the well, you know, on the intro and the beginning of this. You can catch that on my YouTube page at any time, guys. And I go through everything I dumped into this thing. And what I'll do, because I see a lot of streamers, they have like the description of what their actual rig is running and whatnot. So I'll do that as well too, guys. If you're, you know, for those who are interested in that stuff too, because I know people ask other streamers and stuff, you know, the software, the rig and whatnot. So I'll leave that information on my Twitter page, on my Twitch page as well. So you guys can always check that out if you're interested. Yeah. And I got some other PC builds lined up here that in the near future I got one. Well, I know for one fact that I got one. It's for my in-laws. My father-in-law has an older PC that's not working anymore. He had it for quite some time, and it stopped working for him about a year or two ago. So I'm gonna dive into it. I'll make a YouTube video out of that, or maybe I'll Twitch it live. I don't know. I think I'm really falling in love with streaming live, so maybe we'll make a live stream out of it, and we'll go through it and get it booted up. I told him, I'm gonna boot Linux on it for him, so I'm gonna teach him about Linux operating systems and whatnot, and get him to I'll get him to fall in love with I'm gonna put Ubuntu on there for him. And I'll teach him how to use it and stuff like that. Because the Ubuntu desktop is great, man. The Fedora desktop is great too. The CentOS desktops, I had no issues with any of those. But I for some reason I just like Ubuntu. I don't know. Say what you want, whatever. All right, so let's get this fired up. Once we'll get the consoles opened up to one of those as soon as they boot up. I don't want to drink any coffee right now, guys. I've been drinking too much coffee lately. I'm not sleeping. What was that? I saw some kind of notification come through. It disappeared as soon as it came through. I don't know what it was. Is that somebody? No. I would have got out. Because I got my alerts on. I got my alerts set up on this thing, right? Yeah? Yeah, so it wasn't somebody following me. I would have got the alert. You got a console yet? Yeah, okay. They booted up that fast? That was bad. Come on. There. Oh, wee! Yeah, sometimes it does that. Well, it's probably just because of the cloud image and whatnot. I should have waited for it to. So, we already got an IP address. Our DHCP server is working, so we got an IP address of 192.168.4.200, which is what the IP address that Sander von Bunt has suggested that we get it up, because what he's probably gonna do is he's probably gonna have a whole bunch of Ansible scripts that he's gonna give out to us and whatnot, and that's probably the IP range that his Ansible scripts, his YAML files probably have on it and whatnot. So that's probably why he put that out, just to make it easier for everybody. So, all right, let's see if we can ping Google. Can't ping Google, so. Yeah, this one. You have to do a little troubleshooting, guys. Good. Is a problem. Where is it going? Troubleshooting. What it's all about. It's gotta be that. I did mess that up, didn't I? You dummy. Interface. One. Oh, let me. Side. Let's get 0. And side. One. And side. Troubleshooting. I love troubleshooting. You learn more when you troubleshoot, guys. I'm telling you. That's what it's all about. Okay. Let's, boom, baby! Alright, we're in business. Alright, now let's see if DNS is working. So, how we make sure DNS is working, we say ping Google, we put www. Alright, now let's test if DNS is working. Alright, DNS is not working properly. Alright, gotta fix that too. Alright, so now, what did I name our DHCP server? Well, what did I name our LabNet? Okay. Let's see. Let me write this configuration real quick. Write that. DHCP, and then we lay LabNet, and then we're gonna say no DNS 4.1. We're gonna say DNS 2.168.245. I did. Mac and cheesy time. Mac and cheesy. Mac and cheesy. I'm not buying followers, you. I ain't got no money to buy followers. Just gonna reset the PC real quick, guys. Reboot. You done? Password's tapped. Done. Come on, Venus. All right. You so. And Oh, you know what it's probably doing? I know what I have to do. I know what I have to do. Doesn't work this time. I ain't got time. I need DNS working because I need to do an update on this thing. So I can download Ansible to it. There we go. Now DNS is working. Alright. Now. Alright. So there you go. So we got DNS up. DNS is working. Everything so far is going very well. I am happy. My Ansible look real quick, guys. So I can troubleshoot things from there. Where do I have my Ansible book over here? Probably do. I just didn't look close enough, right? Freaky's my Ansible. Ansible book so we can troubleshoot if we run into any issues with Ansible. This could take a little bit, guys. Finish my mac and cheesy first. install shit ton of packages. Ooh, excuse my language. Alright, but we'll look at this for a little bit, I guess. So yeah, so this is the ESXi, guys. So this is if you're familiar like Proxmox and stuff like that, this is nearly this is the same type of technology software that Proxmox is. You know, I'll get around to getting Proxmox a Proxmox server up too, guys, so we can go through that too later on, you know, in the future and whatnot. And you know, we'll do some more. We gotta do some ESXi stuff too, because ESXi on its own is its own beast. I've been struggling. Well, I guess not struggling, but what I've been trying to do is I was trying to set up a whole. Well, I built a virtual switch, because you can build virtual switches in ESXi and whatnot. So I was building a virtual switch and assigning it port groups, and then from there, what I was trying to do was assign that virtual switch to CML on a separate interface, because on CML, once you log into the admin, you can actually create virtual interfaces off of CML, and then from there you can create your own custom bridges and whatnot. So it allows you to do all that stuff that I wanted to do. So I assigned a bridge to a custom interface, and I got it to boot up, but what I couldn't get it to do from there was to actually I couldn't get traffic through that bridge to another VM, because I had another VM set up off of that actual custom bridge, and it might have been partly I was assigning it VLANs, and that might have been why. I honestly think if I didn't hard code VLANs into the actual port group, it would have been successful. And that's just something I gotta go back on. I got the whole, again, I got another whole book, that the book for ESXi is, this is the Ansible book. The book for ESXi, it's about that thick. All right, it's a pretty, well, you guys couldn't see it, so there's the book, and the ESXi book's about this thick. It's, like I said, it's a beast on its own, but it's like just to bring this back into back full circle. Proxmox is it's a similar technology. It's you can run it as a headless server that its main job is to pretty much, then you can run multiple virtual machines. You can start setting up virtual clusters. You can start doing all kinds of cool stuff. And the thing is, I can do this all on ESXi. I just I pay for ESXi because I use obviously I'm using this as just because ESXi is a commercial product. All right. There is a free I believe there is a free trial version that you can use for ESXi. But I wanted the full boat, because again, these are technologies that I need to really dive in and really learn about hardcore. Because what the advantage is with the ESXi is, you see where it says vCenter server. So here's a cool little thing for you guys. And this is actually showing all the CPU usage that, and this is again why I like using, why I like booting up my VMs on ESXi and not just booting them right off of like VirtualBox or VMware Workstation and whatnot, because I get to analyze what is going on, how my resources are actually being used. And ESXi gives a great physical representation of what is really going on, behind the scenes. That's again, this is what I need. This is where I'm going with my education. With I'm getting a degree in information technology and whatnot. Even though right now, because I'm going through University of Phoenix to get this degree, and their path, well, at least their courses that they have are centered around Windows. I believe it's Windows 12 server, technology, operating system, whatever. That's fine. I gotta learn that too, just to give you guys a little bit of the other part, if you are curious about trying to get VMs to work on your rig, on your operating system. I am running Windows Pro, okay, and there is something behind running Windows Pro, just because I can allow virtualization because of Windows Pro. I believe just the Windows 10 standard edition, I believe the operating system locks you out of being able to allow your CPU to be virtualized. All right, and that's another thing too. Your CPU needs to be able to be virtualized, and you need to enable that in the actual BIOS. So that's another thing behind even Windows. So even though, say, you have a CPU that can be virtualized, and you enable it inside of the BIOS, again, if you're running just Windows 10 Standard Edition, Windows 10 Standard Edition its security is going to prevent you from even virtualizing from there. I believe there's ways around it, but Windows 10 Pro, there's a security option that allows you to virtualize your CPU, obviously, and that's what I'm using to then enable, again, VMware Workstation Pro to be virtualized, and then from there I'm virtualizing ESXi. From there, I'm virtualizing everything else. It's a step within 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 a step. But again, it's this is the way of the future, guys. This is where everything's going. Like I mentioned before in previous streams, it updated. Shall we? That's all I was waiting for. I was waiting for it to update. Now we're gonna download Ansible real quick on it. But like I had mentioned before in a previous stream, guys, most software and everything these days is heading towards the software as a service model, which is fine, cool. And then pretty soon, what that entails though is everything's going to be running pretty much off of a web browser, which honestly takes less stress off your actual PC. But what that entails though is there's going to be just more information flowing through the internet. I mean, tons and tons and tons of information flowing through the internet. There already is. And then, Amazon, Microsoft, Rackspace, Microsoft with Azure, Amazon with AWS, Rackspace with Rackspace Cloud, and then there's obviously more and more other cloud service providers. you know, they're running programs like Proxmox. They're running programs like ESXi to handle, you know, that are handling these apps, that are handling these services that you're just, you know, you're just calling up the service on your web browser, and then wham bam, thank you, man, you're getting that that software, that service, whatever the case is, but that's running off of a virtual machine that's running in a cloud service provider's server somewhere, you know, who knows where. But the thing is with technologies like ESXi and Proxmox, what that does is it, instead of it being, it, you know, it, in a way it's still localized to that server, but, you know, with other services, technologies added into that, that service, that app, whatever you're using, if say that server, that physical server went down, you won't even notice that service being swapped off to another server instantaneously. And that is due to virtualization. And that's why virtualization is such a great technology. And it's the wave of the future. It is already the wave of the future. It's what's going on right now. You know, obviously, you don't see it, you don't feel it, but it's you know, like I said, ASW, Amazon, they are rolling hands over fist. They're setting up server farms everywhere, all over the world, to, you know, continue to handle the amount of information, the amount of data that's gonna, you know, that's flowing through the internet that needs to be enabled, you know, so we can continue to progress, so companies can continue to create more apps and create better apps, more services for everybody, you know, from hospitals to gaming, to everything else in this, you know, in the near dear future. All right, let's get this started here. That's good. Ansible, load it up. Ansible, Ansible. It's going pretty quick, actually. It's going pretty quick, man. Hey. These two PCs all loaded up. Next, we have to establish, we gotta create some SSH key pairs from the Ansible controller to PC1 and PC2. That way when we get, once we start creating our scripts, our YAML scripts for Ansible, there won't be no need to enter a password to make an SSH connection, because Ansible communicates through SSH. All right, secure shell. Okay, so that's why we need to establish some SSH key pairs, again, from the controller to the actual nodes that it's going to be controlling, managing, whatever you want to call it. It's a real simple process. Takes a couple minutes. We're nearly there, though. We're nearly there. It's going pretty well. Let's just make sure we have the connections here. Google. Good. Update sudo apt get update. And Ansible, it runs agentless. And what I mean by it running agentless, I don't need to download Ansible onto these other VMs. We don't need to do that. Ansible just needs to be on the controller. You know what I'm saying? The actual controller VM, the controller machine. That's the only thing you need to download Ansible to. All right. I'm just gonna update these two PCs, just for the simple fact that I just want to make sure that I'm working with a full image. That's the only reason why I'm running these updates right now. And it's just good practice to make sure that when you're working with, you know, any operating system, that you just make sure that you have the up-to-date image, up-to-date software. You know what I'm saying? Packages and whatnot. You know, just for instance, you know, when so we don't run into any problems tomorrow and stuff like that. That's mainly why I'm getting all this set up. You know, that's what we're doing here today. You know, what is this taking me? What am I, about 2 hours, about an hour and a half into this already? So this would have been the same amount of time it would have taken me tomorrow to get this all set up. So I'm saving, you know, a whole bunch of time right now by getting this done. So again, I get the full, you know, I give Xander the full attention that young, you know, that man deserves by, you know, giving us, the students, you know, his time. You know what I'm saying? You know, because again, he always gives a great class, always, but he's not gonna wait around for you. You know what I'm saying? He's not there to troubleshoot what's going on with your machine. So you got to make sure that you're ready for his class. You know what I'm saying? That's just being respectful to him. You know what I'm saying? He's dumped a lot of time into preparing these classes, and in making sure that he has everything and everything's gonna work, you know. But again, he's not there to troubleshoot for you. All right. So, yeah, that's it, guys. That's it. You know. gonna go grab. While this is updating real quick, guys, I'm gonna go grab. Some more something to drink and whatnot. I'll be right back, guys. In the side of looking. Working faster than it normally does. It tends what I've noticed with running these VMs inside of CML, it's probably just because of it's running through so many virtualized connections that the traffic runs a little bit slower than it would if natively, if I was running it if I was doing everything just off ESXi and whatnot. So it's the reason why these updates and whatnot take just a little bit longer than they normally would and whatnot. Not too bad though. I'll tell you another great book. It's this. This is the Linux Bible here, guys. Don't get hung up that the fact that it's called Bible. I didn't like the fact that it was called Bible either, but whatever. It's a great book, guys. Full boatloads of Linux knowledge and whatnot. It primarily covers Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system, but obviously, Ubuntu and Red Hat is nearly similar. It's still Linux at the end of the day. It's just they use just a handful of different programs that just caused a little bit of differences. The file system and whatnot is almost the same. There's really just a handful of different files that differ between a Red Hat and an Ubuntu operating system. But yeah, it's a great book if you are interested into taking the deep dive into Linux. I would suggest picking up this book, you know, because it can, you know, in Linux it can be intimidating in the beginning, especially if you're running it, you know, like a server edition that's just running, you know, just a, you know, straight up command line and whatnot. It can be intimidating. You can feel like, yeah, you know, what am I, you know, you can, you know, in the beginning, it's like you really don't understand what, you know, what you're doing unless you're a genius, which I'm not. But from my experience with all this stuff is just going, you know, I just have just a couple months experience with this stuff. Before this, you know, I'm a heavy equipment operator. You know, I'm not a computer whiz or a networking guy. Nope. I am a heavy equipment operator. I moved Earth before this. But if you guys have been following me for a while, you know, I had an injury back in February that, you know, caused me to lose the ability to walk for a while. You know, I wasn't able to walk for about 6 months. So I had a lot of time to sit down. So I started reading. And yeah, I discovered a new passion. I discovered a new you know, I discovered a new career that I want to go after. So obviously that's part, you know, part of that was due to this injury is not going to go away from me now. You know, I'm going to live with this injury for the rest of my life and whatnot. You know, and I just have to make sure that, you know, I'm taking care of my body better. You know, I'm one of those guys that you know, thought I was invincible. You know, you know, I put my body through the motions and you know, paid the price. You know, my back and my hip paid the price. I went from a guy that was, you know, that would deadlift 600 pounds. And yeah, I used to be able to deadlift 600 pounds. You know, I've got buddies out there that can confirm that. Let's get this. But you know, obviously, you know, I'm paying for all that now between all the stuff I did in my military career and everything else. You know, everything's taking a toll on me. But that's just the way life is, guys. I'm still alive. You know, I got a lot of friends that ain't alive anymore. You know, I'm still here, luckily enough. I mean, talk about my buddies that ain't alive anymore. Get all emotional. Let me just check out their streams on everything else going. Make sure everything else is up there. Yeah. Looking good. Looking good, baby. Let's check out YouTube too. Sure. Make sure I don't have anybody on YouTube. Why is it showing live? It is showing live. There it goes. Alright. Took a minute for YouTube to update itself. It's fine. Alright. That's cool. It's running. Yeah, so I'm using what is it? I started using Streamlabs OBS, and then with its new update, it multi-streams to as many streaming platforms as I can find the stream on. So I got it streaming live on obviously Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook all at the same time. So I think it's pretty cool. I like it. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with the software and stuff like that. It's pretty clean. It's a good investment, in my opinion. How's that? And let's sure our connections are good before we get crazy. Updated. Yeah, so you can see, you guys, my head's kind of in the way. So right over here, guys, this is the actual storage on the CML VM. Okay, so all this right here, this is these green bars on the bottom. These are the stats for CML. That's why I didn't put that's why I didn't want to put that border around the actual scene here, because I kind of want you guys to see this right here. This is CPU usage. If you guys can actually see CPU right there. Yeah, you guys can actually see that. So that's actually the physical, the real deal physical. So when you see it jumping up like that, that's actually using CPUs. And I got ESXi using I got to give in it 6 virtual CPUs. Okay, so you got to remember how I divvy up the resources. Now, again, that gets into a little bit of the nitty gritties of everything, but I can virtualize the CPUs off of ESXi, so I'm giving it 6 virtual CPUs. It's a just, when you're running CML, just because it's running, these are all real deal images. These are legit VMs. These ain't fake VMs, guys. These are real, actual operating computers running inside of another computer. Just like everything else, everything is being virtualized. And these switches and these routers, these are real images. Okay, this is a very heavy, software program. That is, cool stuff, man. That's all I want to say, guys. Let's do the update. Again, I'm just gonna do this update. This will be the last update that we gotta do. This shouldn't take too long. Then once we do this update, the reason why I'm kind of taking my time with it, again, because I don't want to overdo it on the CPU here. But yeah, and then we'll get SSH. Actually, we can get this now that we get that up. We'll let that do its thing over there. We'll come over here. We'll get SSH. We'll get SSH. How far am I behind? We'll get SSH up and running on the, well, we'll just get SSH set up. Alrighty then. Let's get this started. It is, SSH is already, the SSH server is already, because it's using the Ubuntu server image, so SSH is already downloaded on it. The package itself is already, the server is already installed on the actual image, so we don't need to download the SSH package. It's already got it on. So all I need to do is start creating the keys and whatnot. What is going? Come on, Betsy. Oh, guys. Good. There it goes. Just trying to get. I monitor chat from my phone, so want to make sure that the phone was. That it was. The stream was up to date on my phone, so that's it. So all right, let's get it started, guys. So. I'm not, how's this? I'm not assigning any passwords, phrases, nothing like that to these keys, okay? Again, I want this to be as simple and as cut and dry as possible, all right? It's gonna make doing this lab and this course tomorrow so much easier, all right? So much easier. So let's do it. All right. Sage, copy, I, dash, tilde, sage, Now let's log into so there we go. So we successfully created an SSH key pair with PC1 over here. Okay. So again, we're just gonna do that same thing, and then you can tell because it's just do this. So 192.168.201. Remember, so 192.168.201 is PC1. Okay, and then we're gonna create that same thing for PC2, and PC2 is 202. All right. Just gonna do that. Let me just check on this bad Larry. He's still doing. I'll give him a couple minutes to update. Let me just exit out of this now. All right. So as you can see right here, the connection to 192.168.4.1 is closed out. Okay. So now I'm just giving you guys some context-sensitive help. Okay. I lost my only two. So I'll do IP address so you guys can see. This is, again, so we're back in the Ansible controller machine. Okay, that's it. So this is just about done. Once this finishes up, I'll do the same thing to that as well, and then we'll create an Ansible. We're gonna create an Ansible folder, and then we're just gonna create a quick YAML. We're gonna create a quick Ansible playbook that's just gonna ping the two devices just so I can confirm that I got Ansible correctly installed, configured, and whatnot. So you'll see that here very shortly, guys. Oh, Betty. Beautiful. All right. So we're good. SSH set up now. Done. We've made a quick folder, Ansible 1. And in here, we're gonna make a config file. Then we're gonna make a playbook. All right, real easy peasy stuff, guys. Real easy peasy stuff. Okay. Oh wait, you know what I don't have installed on here? Vim. I always forget to install Vim. Why? Alright, let's make a See if this works. Ansible. It's So we've successfully this right here, guys, is a success. We ran an Ansible ad hoc, all right, an ad hoc command ping. All right, so we ran the ad hoc command ping on our host inventory file on all host. Okay. That was pretty good. And I didn't even have to, I didn't have to mess with the config file or anything like that. And yeah, we're good. We are pretty much good. That's the actual, that sets us up for success tomorrow, guys. All right. I'm happy. I'm happy with that one. Ain't no doubt about it. I'll even write a. We can write a quick. We can write a quick playbook too while we're here. Wait. One. Simple. Host. Supposed to be on. Oh, look. Just. Cool. Well, we graded a successful YAML file. All right. And this is actually really good, guys. I'm really happy with how this went tonight. So this is just giving you the recap of what happened on our ping, okay? And we made a playbook. We called it play1.yaml. We gave it the host, and the play is just a simple ping play. Task is just gathering facts. All right, it's just looking for these hosts again because we have SSH key pairs on them. It doesn't need a password or anything like that. And then I named the task perform a ping on PC1 and PC2. So it's going to perform a ping on PC1 and PC2. Again, it's on their IP addresses, right? And it's just giving us a recap, all right, saying that it was successful. All right. So this was this was as simple as a Ansible, soup to nuts. We set up a working Ansible lab. All right, and this is just setting me up for success for tomorrow, with Sandra's class. Okay, so guys, I want to thank you all. I want to thank everybody for the support, for the love. All right, I'm going to continue to bring you guys, more and more content. A lot of it's going to be, we'll be picking up the CCNA study labs tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys join me then. We're going to be diving into chapter 4, which I'll give everybody a quick synopsis on chapter 4. That's just a tweet. Alright, so chapter 4 is the start of implementing Ethernet LANs. Okay, so chapter 4 is using the command line interface. Okay, so a lot of what you guys were watching me tonight go through, we did a lot of so we'll probably be labbing, we'll be labbing some stuff up in CML too. And then chapter 5 goes into analyze Ethernet LAN switching. Chapter switch, configuring basic switch management, and chapter 7 is configuring and verify a switch interface. So Monday will be chapter 4, Tuesday will be chapter 5, Wednesday will be chapter 6, Thursday will be chapter 7, and then Friday will be chapter 8. Okay, But this we're getting into part 2 of the CCNA 200-301 volume 1 book. All right, and this we've already completed part 1 of the book. Now this is part 2, and it's implementing Ethernet LAN. So I hope you guys can join me tomorrow, and we'll be streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. Again, I start the streams at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, weekdays. I'm gonna create a schedule for the weekends. Two guys, that'll be a lot of my gameplays and stuff like that. We'll be happening on the weekends, but I'll create a more formal schedule for that, just so I have a committed time frame for you guys. I want to, this is me making a commitment for you guys, okay? But then, like I said, though, I also am thinking about adding a DevNet stream study as well. I have been reviewing the DevNet exam for the past probably the past 2 weeks now. I've been reviewing the exam study material. That's going to be heavily revolved around Bash scripting, Python, and then my thing that I have to really get good at is APIs. I really need to start understanding and utilizing APIs. It is crucial to my advancement on where I'm going with my career and my education as well, guys. So, like I said, I'll be formulating and thinking about where I can fit that into these streams as well. Obviously, I do have I have some time blocks. I just have to manage my time accordingly, just because I am in school. I'm a full-time student as well, and I'm a full-time daddy because my wife works during the day. That makes me a full-time daddy throughout the day, while I'm a full-time student throughout the day, and I'm trying to be a full-time streamer too as well, guys. So I'm filling up my plate pretty fast, but I think it's the right thing. I feel good doing this, guys. I love doing this now. I've fallen in love with this stuff, so fallen in love with streaming too, guys. Yeah, so guys, as always, from from my house to yours, guys, thank you very much. I love all you guys, and I'll see you guys again. Have a good night, everybody.